Welcome into First Energy Stadium for the final edition in 2020 of Browns Live Training Camp, presented by University Hospitals. Tonight will be the operational dress rehearsal for your Browns as you see them going through what will be the pregame warm-ups, the specialists on the field early, the kickers, the returners, going through what will be happening about this time, about an hour and a half before kickoff in a normal regular season game. DJ Ryan Wolf spinning just as it will be here at First Energy Stadium. Nathan Zagura alongside Browns legends Josh Cribbs bringing you into First Energy Stadium. We'll be with you for what will be Kevin Stefanski's, as we said, operational dress rehearsal. Normally, Josh, at this time of the year, you would have had 4 preseason games to figure out what your warm-up period is like. How do we handle going in and out of halftime? How are we separating the coaches? Who's up? Who's down? All of those things. The Browns haven't gotten to do any of that. They will go through that kind of operational rehearsal tonight.
Yes, and it's what are the coaches made of all around the NFL. Right now, every team is going through something similar where you had no preseason games and you don't even know who you have when it comes to these new players and the new acquisitions and additions on the teams. So game one will tell the tale, and that's why we talked about the different rule changes. But I think all across the NFL, you see it's a battle of coaches. You know, how will you deal with the situations and not having the preseason? So I know the guys are really excited to understand what's going to happen, the difference of nuances, dealing with everything going on, who will handle it best. Game one, I've been getting a lot of emails and texts and IG like, are we ready for game one? Is the Browns going to be what they supposed to be under Stefanski? Time will tell.
Time will tell, and obviously you look at the returners there. You were a returner.
Yes.
Were the pregame kind of warm-ups different depending on your coach, depending on your special teams coach, or was it a pretty standard thing?
Well, I learned early how to warm up as a specialist under Jerry Rosberg, who retired this past offseason. He was with us back in 2005, and then he ended up being with the Ravens. But I ended up having a routine that I used all throughout my career, and I figured the offense, not the offense, but the special teams coordinator said, you know, if it ain't broke, we're not going to try to fix his routine, and the other returners followed suit. So I made sure I got out here doing warm-ups, which you see these guys are doing, and even before that, when they come out here to stretch, before they even come as a team, individually, these athletes come out here and they get fired up. They get loosened. They go through their routes, their routing tree as receivers, the returners, and they get like it's a game, and they sweat and do all that preparation before the game. So when the lights cut on, it's not, no warming up process necessary. They go right ahead full speed.
And you look at our returners there, and that's one of the positions that, we still don't know. Will it be JoJo Natson? Does he secure his roster spot as the Browns have to get down to 53 by 4 o'clock on Saturdays? You see the running backs making their way onto the field, and, of course, there is the incomparable Nick Chubb, who – obviously one of Kevin Stefanski's favorites, all business, as you're seeing the offense come out looking very good.
Jerseys look
by
good.
the way, in the Browns. Last time the offense was out here in the whites, the defense in the Browns. Today it is reversed. Then you see Odell Beckham Jr., wide receiver Jamarcus Bradley making their way out there. Let's get into the news update today, brought to you by Carrier. We'll start with some roster updates. When Grant Delpit went down, Josh, it was obviously a big deal, a big loss. And Andrew Berry said,
yes,
I am going to go ahead and have to make a move. He does that. Yesterday, you pick up Ronnie Harrison, a former third-round pick of the Jags who's made 22 career starts, just 23 years old. And he's a guy that can play that big nickel, that big dime, can play strong safety for you, and trade a fifth-round pick. Now, the Browns had 2 fifth-round picks already in 2021. They trade one of them. They had their own, plus one that was acquired in the trade when they sent Austin Corbett to the Rams. So they used that to bring in Ronnie Harrison, two-time national champion at Alabama, called the plays, was the defensive captain on that football team, and a guy who brings versatility, youth, and you have him on 2 years under that rookie deal. So not only can he help you now, and I think he'll be ready to go soon, but this is somebody that could be a part of the Browns' future. Started 14 games for Jacksonville last year.
Definitely, and this is, again, Andrew Berry adding depth. Not just any type of depth, but a leader. He was a captain in college, and he comes out able to come down in the run game. I think that overall tops it for me. A guy who can cover but help out in the run game when necessary. The nickel package. This is an all-around guy we think that can help this team, throughout the season, but right now. Somebody who can come in right now because of injury and play, and that's what you look for. You don't look for potential, what he can turn out to. We need somebody to help us right now. We're trying to win now, Nathan.
Absolutely, and that's why you bring in a guy,
yes.
as I said, who started 14 games a year ago for the Jags, was the second leading tackler on their team for his career. 3 interceptions, 3 sacks as well, a couple of fumble recoveries, so a guy who knows how to be around the ball, and I think he will be ready to help you week 1 against the Ravens. You're going to need it. He's a guy with a lot of experience, even though he still is relatively young, but it's clear Andrew Berry likes bringing in these guys from the SEC. You think about Alabama now. He played with Mac Wilson. He played with Jedrick Wills, all of our guys from LSU.
Yes.
The guys that we picked, the first 4 picks this year were all SEC guys. So we're bringing in a lot of these big school guys, and Harrison, the Athletics' Dane Brugler said he was the second best safety in that 2018 class behind only Derwin James. So a good move there, low risk, and a potential to get somebody who can help you.
Definitely, and you talk about the defensive coordinator, Joe Woods. He had some hand in that say-so. Andrew Berry, being as smart as he is, the Ivy League guy, I'm sure he got his advice on, who do you think before he made the overall pick? Who fits into this defensive scheme perfectly, who can come in right away and help this football team right now. When you're talking about guys coming in, these transactions, Joe Woods, he had to have some say-so in that, a guy that they can plug and play. And all throughout the year, you're going to see guys that they bring in maybe that they plug and play. It's not potential, it's plug and play.
No, and Harrison, I think, as you said, able to help you now, but also could be somebody who could be next to Grant Delpit in the defensive backfield for the next decade. As you see the Browns tight ends there, David Njoku, the Chiefs, Steve Carlson, and that's a room that has been sensational all training camp long. The Browns made another move. They signed tackle Brady Aiello, a 6'6", 307-pound rookie out of the University of Oregon. So with adding Harrison and adding Aiello, the Browns roster sits at 77 players as of today. They will need to be down to 53 by 4 p.m. on Saturday. They also started with some of their initial cuts as well, as they released 4 players yesterday. J.T. Hassel, safety J.T. Hassel, cornerback Donnie Lewis Jr., wide receiver Jamon Moore, and defensive tackle Ricky Walker. So 77, as you see the Browns corners and safeties making their way onto the field, and this is a group that has been banged up this training camp. Certainly, you see Andrew Sendejo not in pads, jogging out with his guys there, but certainly led by Denzel Ward, the veteran Money Mitch, and that's a group we're going to see a lot to talk about here as it relates to this 53. Guys who are placed on the injured reserve, and this year there are unlimited guys that can come back off of injured reserve. Guys who are placed on that injured reserve must be on your initial 53. So Kevin Johnson, Mac Wilson, if J.C. Tretter's not ready, if Greedy's not ready, and you want to put them on that IR with the ability to bring them back in 3 weeks, they've got to be on your initial 53. So guys fighting, I think, for those final spots out there, like a Rob Jackson, Donovan Olumba, who we've talked a lot about, A.J. Green, number 38, who you see there, the Denzel Ward singled out to us on Browns Live and also in his press conference. A lot of competition in that cornerback room.
It's a lot of competition all across this team when you look at it, at each position, especially when we talk about that running back, that third spot available. The D-line, there's a battle going on there. And then to solidify the linebacker group, do they feel like they need to go out and get another guy? They want to look at what they have out here and to see if, hey, we got what we need in the team. So if you look outside, I had a lot of trouble coming in here, Nathan. It looks like a Browns game. The traffic is coming. I'm like, man, it's a scrimmage. I didn't know, and I didn't even know that they were allowing a lot of fans to come to the game. So people out there like, man, you got tickets. I'm like, man, I'm broadcasting, man. I'm in the booth.
That's right. You're upstairs doing what you do, and it's hard for a guy like Josh Cribbs to make it through the fans. Everybody wants to rub elbows with greatness, and we finally got him in here at First Energy Stadium. So as you're seeing that we're going through, again, this is a game day rehearsal, much more from an operation standpoint. Listen, the Browns play their season opener in 9 days, so you don't want to have physicality and tax it under a normal season. The final preseason game would have been played yesterday. and everybody would be, at this point, making their way. But it's hard for these third-string guys. When do they get an opportunity?
And how do you tell them not to go hard? They're trying to make a play. Look, they do everything in their careers to make it to this point, to get out there on that field behind us. They do everything. So a lot is riding on this, especially before they knock it. They're going to make that cut, like you said, tomorrow. So they have to show their stuff out there. So it's going to be a lot of attitudes and, frustration they got to let out on that field to show the coaches. I know it's a lot of animosity growing out there and adrenaline pumping.
I'm sure it is, but they've got to keep, listen, maybe they'll have the third-string guys go against each other, but you're not going to see people who are expected to play against the Ravens doing much.
Take them out.
No, absolutely not. Keep them safe. We got to get ready for the Ravens. There's our guy, Steve Carlson, in that tight end room, and I think the big question there is, do they keep 4 tight ends? Do they try to keep all 5, which would be a lot? I know they're going to use a lot of tight ends, but they need roster spots, as we mentioned, all over. And those cut downs, remember, the initial cut down to 53, that's 4 o'clock on Saturday. On Sunday, you can put players on that injured reserve to return. If you put somebody on injured reserve before the initial 53 cut, that means they're on IR for the season, and they cannot come back. And as you know, and this is probably one of the hardest things for young players, making the initial 53 doesn't mean you're going to be on the 53 that goes to play the Baltimore Ravens.
Can you give me your top 3, Nathan, in tight ends? Or does it matter? Does it even matter? Because they've been doing pretty good. Give me your top.
Austin Hooper, the Chief, Harrison Bryant.
I don't disagree with none of that. But if they went a different way without, say that the Chief wasn't in that mix, and you got Bryant and Carlson in there, I mean, are you mad?
I would be mad. Yes,
Okay.
I trust Andrew Berry, but I think the Chief's a very talented guy. He's a first-round pick, and we saw him out here.
Right, he showed us.
Yeah.
But he's been quiet, and I'm playing devil's advocate too. He's been quiet throughout training camp, not practicing while these other tight ends have been balling.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about them. And then that last training camp out here, the scrimmage, 50 yards, Case Keenum, and then he joined Baker and company and still was getting a lot of catches. So
I think he's too much talent. We'll see. We'll see, but I
Okay.
think there's a lot of talent there. And I think Pharaoh Brown has been excellent as well, who's kind of your bigger blocking tight end if they keep 4, and he and Carlson battling for that spot. But Steve Carlson, let me tell you something. This organization, whether he ends up on the 53 or not, big fans of Steve Carlson. Okay. And he's a guy that I think is in the Browns' long-term future, and you want to find a way to keep him here. Remember, that's expanded practice squad.
If the Chief isn't there, I don't know, man. I'm just messing with you, but I just think these guys have been playing really good ball, all across the board to earn themselves a spot. And
that's why this is tough. That means our talent, is better than it's been in the past. But
yes, it has been.
I roll with Andrew Berry. He's a professional at this.
There you
I'm
go.
just a guy up here talking to you right now on Browns Live Training Camp. It's time now for everybody's favorite part of the show, our Puppy Pound Puppy of the Day, adopted by Sugardale. You see the Browns defense making its way onto the field. Myles Garrett there. Today's puppy is an 11-month-old hound mix named Kevin Stefanski. All right, I can do that. Kevin Stefanski. Not the fluffiest puppy there, but certainly a cute one. Thanks to our tremendous community support, we have only a limited number of puppies available for adoptions, but we still have dogs. We consider all dogs to be puppies at heart that need forever homes, so please continue to support this great program. If you want to see or adopt a dog or puppy of your own, visit browns.com/puppypound. With each adoption, families will receive a puppy starter kit provided by Sugardale. Kevin Stefanski needs a home. Look at him. Bring him on home to you. Nathan Zagura, Josh Cribbs with you here at First Energy Stadium for Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. It's great to see these uniforms on the field. Great to see these players here. And you're going through this pregame warm-up, and you have your offense doing its thing, your defense doing its thing. But now we want to tell you about something, again, that is very, very special. It's a special opportunity for you to purchase 50/50 raffle tickets during the 2020 Cleveland Browns Training Camp. This is coming to a close. Each ticket is going to provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds. That's great. But what's even better than that is that not only are you doing something, giving yourself a chance here, you're also giving a lot of the youth in Northeast Ohio a chance, because every other part of it, the half that goes to you, the other half of the proceeds, they go to the Cleveland Browns Foundation. Stay in the game, keep learning every day program. And we know how vital that is, especially during this pandemic. Learning is tougher than ever for kids. Some are in school, some are at home, and every dollar counts and can be very, very helpful, as we've shown you all through this, all of this, through this entire training camp, when we featured people about the Stay in the Game network, how important it is. So half of the dollars go to that, as well as shoes and clothes for kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit, and that is so vital as we get ready and headed into the winter months to get that there. So you have a chance to do something great for yourself, but you know you're going to be doing something great in the community, and you certainly can feel good about that. So visit Browns5050.com. Again, Browns5050.com, and this ends at 10 o'clock tonight. Current jackpot over $56,000. So thank you. Let's get this over $100,000. We can do that. That gives you $50,000 for the Stay in the Game Cleveland Browns Foundation and the Keep Learning Everyday Network, as well as shoes and clothes for kids. So let's get it there. Come on, Cleveland. We can do this. Visit Browns5050.com or the Browns mobile app to get your raffle ticket today. And again, you have a great chance to have something great happen to you, but more importantly, you know you're doing something great for the greatest part of the country, Northeast Ohio. We will be back from First Energy Stadium with more Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack. And every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
Antonio's Pizza delivers doubles. Order 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $9.99 each, or make it a large for just $12.99. Download our new Antonio's Pizza app and order 2 of your favorite one-topping pizzas at a special low price. Choose our no-contact delivery and let one of our in-house team members deliver the deliciousness right to your front door. 2 handmade one-topping pizzas fresh out of our 470-degree oven for a low price of $9.99 each for 2 mediums, or get 2 large for just $12.99 each.
Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a daughter, a wife, and a mother. I'm your neighbor, part of the community just like you. Drug Mart is part of the community too. They have been for more than 50 years. Now, more than ever in these challenging times, your neighborhood Drug Mart pharmacy, all of us, are here to help you. You can rely on us to go the extra mile, whatever you need, every time. I know in my heart that I can lean on my neighbors, and you can lean on Discount Drug Mart.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
New this year, Browns fans all across Ohio will have a special opportunity to purchase 50/50 raffle tickets during the 2020 Cleveland Browns training camp. Each ticket will provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds, the other half benefiting the Stay in the Game network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. For more information and to purchase a raffle ticket, visit Browns5050.com. That's Browns5050.com or the Browns mobile app. Welcome back to First Energy Stadium for Browns Live Training Camp, the finale of the 2020 season here, brought to you by University Hospitals. Nathan Segura, Browns legend, Josh Cribbs back at the stadium. And Josh, gosh, they look good out there in those uniforms. We said it last week, but now we're seeing it kind of in the twilight. You're thinking we're getting ready for a primetime game, and it looks good out there on the field.
Man, my adrenaline is pumping for some reason. It feels like a game out here, and just to see them in those uniforms, it's reminiscent of back in the 10, maybe 12 eras when I was playing in 09. I'm kind of feeling like I need to be out there, man. I don't know, man.
You look like you could be out there right now. Listen,
my knees can't, but, you know.
but the rest of you
the rest of me can.
is good. Now, we told you, tomorrow, 4 p.m., that's the deadline for the Browns to go from 77, where this roster currently stands, down to 53. So 24 cuts need to be made from this roster in that time. So let's go into our position group spotlight right now, presented by Pilot Flying J, and talk about some of the roster battles as we see it. I think with the quarterbacks, we know all three certainly will be here. The question will be, do they end up with 2 on the 53 or 3, with Garrett Gilbert being able to be one of those guys that perhaps you protect on your practice squad? But running back, we've talked about it a lot, that third running back spot. If they end up only keeping 3 tailbacks as opposed to 4, D'Ernest Johnson, Dontrell Hilliard, both have been good. Hilliard, a 2-year veteran. Johnson with the team last year. Both have had good camps, especially D'Ernest, who's caught both of our eyes.
You said it right there. And I'm going to come from 2 different angles. If I'm a general manager, if I'm a head coach, I'm thinking more safe. When I think of a guy like Stefanski, I want to get this program, Browns, the whole organization back to normacy. So I'm going to go with the guy with experience, a guy who's been there and done that, a guy who's played and tried and true. I know what I got in this guy, and that guy is Dontrell Hilliard. But when I look at it as a fan, if I was watching the Browns live, faithfully, like I told you guys, like I said, put the stats on there, see who's been exciting you. I'm going with D'Ernest Johnson, who can accelerate faster, hit the hole better, and excites you as a running back who could possibly come in any type of situation and electrify you. Just looking at the way he runs and hits those cuts. And I think you also like that, like D'Ernest Johnson, when it comes to the guy running with the ball who gives you the best chance to get yardage down the field.
Yeah, I love the way he runs it. I love the way that he catches it as well. And I thought last time we were here on Sunday at First Energy Stadium, he basically put on a show on that second drive with the second team offense. He had a chunk run, a chunk catch, and then caught the touchdown from Case Keenum at the end of it as well. And so I think that's a tough decision. Now, both of those guys can also contribute in the return game. And if JoJo Natson ends up as your returner, that becomes less important. It becomes more about what they do as a running back. If JoJo Natson is not your returner and say it's Donovan Peoples-Jones, they now move up to a second return job, and Dontrell did that very well for us a year ago.
He did it well, but when you look at things, I know you mentioned this a few weeks ago, talking about picking up the blocking assignment. So knowledge of offense, that's what it may come down to. Who can come in during the game and not miss a beat? When injuries happen, as they will, you look at a guy who you can plug in and play, and that term is going to be used a lot, a plug and play. I have an injury. I don't want to waste time on thinking who's going to do this. I just need somebody who's going to step in and satisfy my offensive goals. And unfortunately, it's a guy who we just haven't seen much of. We know Dontrell is out there, but he hasn't done anything exciting us. Haven't excited the fans enough for me.
Yeah, listen, but Dontrell was also the guy who scored the first touchdown for the Browns in the 2019 season against the Titans. So tough choices. That's why we're happy we are not making them. Let's go now to the defensive end room, because I think here's another potential roster battle going on right now. As you see, Chad Thomas, the Browns' third-round pick from a couple years ago, an early third-round pick coming off of a career-high 4+ sacks a year ago as he was thrust into more action. But he's battling with Porter Gustin, and Porter Gustin, number 97, joined the Browns midway through last year, but has had a great offseason and a great training camp, and often was running ahead of Thomas when Myles Garrett was out. We know Myles Garrett's going to be on this team. We know 54 Vernon, you see there, 94 Claiborne. So Gustin and Thomas likely competing here for one spot. Thomas has the draft pedigree. Gustin's probably had the better camp thus far. And again, a tough decision. We've seen one guy do it in the NFL at a high level. The other one, we haven't quite seen it yet, but we've liked what we've seen in Berea.
And you kind of hit it on the head. One is the draft prospect, the guy who was drafted to come here and play. And I told you guys that it was about time for a select few of those draft picks from a few years ago to start panning out. I believe that this is Chad Thomas's year to pan out, to kind of make the organization worth his while. Like, we got you, now we want to see it. This is year 3, I believe, 3 or 4 for him. 3. This is his year to kind of come through. And then you talked about Gustin. He showed up. He showed up in like a guy's supposed to do. When you bring him on a football team, you don't want to see him slacking. You don't want to see his head falling asleep in meetings. None of that happened. He's knowledgeable on the rushes. He's high motor in the trenches, and he does what you need him to do when he's in the game. So again, another tough pick between the two. I'm not sure that it's between those two guys of who will pass and fail, who will make it or not on the team, but it's a tough choice because you want to see Chad Thomas. He gives you enough to keep him, and I think this is his year, though. So it's kind of hard to, try to let a guy go right as he's reaching the climax of his stint here with the Browns.
Yeah, he had a good year last year. Obviously, we said an early third-round pick. Did he do enough to hold off of Gus? And as you see the Browns' offensive and defensive lines going through the paces, Jedrick Wills. You see Willie Wright there in for Joel Bitonio, likely getting a Veterans Day today as they kind of go through their paces. Nick Harris at center, Teller and Jack Conklin working there with Sheldon Richardson and Myles Garrett. So the Browns going through their pregame warm-ups here. As we talked about some of the roster battles, I think another position we have to talk about is the cornerback position, and injuries have really put a spotlight onto this position. It has been a while since we have seen Greedy Williams, Kevin Johnson, or MJ Stewart on the field for the Browns. So that leaves you with Denzel and Money Mitch. As we talked about, those three clearly are in the plan, so you probably put them on the 53. Even if they have to end up on that IR initially, they have to be on that initial 53. But then our guy Tavier Thomas has been great. That's 6. Olumba's been great. That's 7. A.J. Green's been very good. That's 8. Rob Jackson has been very good. That's 9. There's not enough room for 9 of those guys, but maybe 7, and then you'll be able to get one back off the practice squad if you end up having to put Kevin Johnson, for example, on that temporary injured reserve list with the lacerated liver.
You're absolutely right. And when I look at this talented group, those guys that you mentioned with injuries have showed enough. They showed up immediately. The draft pick, Cover Johnson showed up. Greedy, we all know what he's capable of. So these guys, I think, will be put on the 53, and that's why, because of how many guys we need to put on that injured reserve to bring back, I think we'll only have 2 quarterbacks active on the 53 and then move Gilbert. Those situations, because you have so many talented guys at the cornerback position. Tavier Thomas, he's a guy who's going to be on the field. He has to make it because of special teams. If not, you're asking one of these career cornerbacks to do something that they're not comfortable doing, and you already have excellent cornerbacks in Denzel Ward. You have Money Mitch, who's been filling in, but he's a starter out there. So it's not like he's filling in. And Olumba is a guy who I wanted to see progress more. That's why I wanted these guys to have more contact, to show him more going against the ones in games like this, because they've been locking down Odell and company. They've been locking down the first offense. These young guys.
He's looked good. There's no
doubt.
too.
So, man, I don't want to be Andrew Barrett, but I know he's up for the job, though.
There's no doubt about it. And Tavier's been working as your starting slot corner with Kevin Johnson and MJ Stewart both out right now. Olumba, A.J. Green working as those second team on the outside, and both have been good. So has Robert Jackson. Again, tough decisions there as the Browns cornerback room. We've seen the depth. We've had to see it, and we have seen it throughout this training camp in Berea. Time now for Football 101 presented by Ohio Cat. As we take a look at the 2-minute drill, we take a look at the Browns against the Jets from last year, 2019. And look at there's our guy D. Ernest Johnson in there helping in pass pro, sliding out, but it is right there to Damian Ratley. And Damian Ratley, we're talking about competition for the Browns, and there is D. Ernest Johnson making a nice run, and that's showing a guy again who can do it at a high level for the Browns. But you've got to go quick in this 2-minute drill, and these are the momentum builders, especially when you're able to score going in before the half, and that was an absolute dime there as Jarvis got hit, calls for them to clock it. You get Austin Seibert on the field, and boom, 3 points. But that gives you momentum going into the half, and then lots of times when you also get the ball to start the second half, you get those back-to-back possessions. The Patriots are famous for this, and that's where you're able to put up a double-digit spread in a hurry.
And pay attention when they do two-minute drills anytime, even in the game. The first play of 2-minute or in practice, they really want to complete that 2-minute play.
Drive starter.
Yes, it's a great drive starter. It gets the momentum pumping. It gets everybody believing, yes, we're going to take it down the field. We're going to score. So that first play in 2-minute is really impactful. So with whatever coach, whenever you see them do a 2-minute drill, whatever quarterback is in the game, let's see who completes that first pass, and then create that game-like experience and say, okay, they would have had success.
All right, we will be back with more coverage from First Energy Stadium when Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals returns.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
Snapple apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And 1 and 2, shake now, stomp. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler, and cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
The health and well-being of Ohioans is our top priority. That's why we offer high-quality health insurance plans for you and your family, with access to the doctors and hospitals you know and trust, plus dental, vision, and wellness plans to help you achieve and maintain your best health. We give you peace of mind so you can enjoy life's best moments. We are here for you, today and every day. Medical Mutual, the official health insurer of everything you love.
Hi, I'm John. I'm a pharmacist for Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a healthcare provider, good listener, and a problem solver. I've been a pharmacist for Drug Mart for over 30 years, and that's a long time to get to know your patients. And each week we hear as many concerns as there are patients. Just the other day, I special ordered a medication for Mrs. Briscoe, just to make sure she didn't miss a dose. I'm proud that our patients trust me with their pharmacy needs, and I promise that Discount Drug Mart will always be there for you.
All right, we are back at First Energy Stadium, and Buffalo Wild Wings this year is stepping up to make sure our fans can still experience their game day rituals for the upcoming Browns seasons. Buffalo Wild Wings is offering a first-of-its-kind season ticket package for Browns fans where they can watch all games from a custom-designed dog pound section inside of 10 sports bars in the Cleveland area. The 10 Cleveland season ticket packages will go on sale soon and are packed with perks like weekly food and drink deals, Brown swag, and more. And if you guys haven't seen this, it's stunning. It looks just like the dog pound. They have the same walling that is right in front of the dog pound. It is awesome. So check it out. To be sure to follow Buffalo Wild Wings on social media for more information. And I've seen the pictures. It is awesome. It will be a must-go destination for Browns fans this season. Those season ticket packages, very, very cool. Welcome back into Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. Nathan Zagura, Browns legend Josh Cribbs, as you saw the Browns heading into the tunnel as they're going through, again, kind of what we called an operational rehearsal. You're going to go through your warm-ups before a game. You head back in. You make the final comments are made before you get ready to come out here and get to work in the game.
Yes, and the adrenaline with these guys right now, the adrenaline is pumping. They're trying to get their minds wrapped around what they have to do, their offensive assignments, their defensive assignments, special teams. All these things are going through their heads. Some of them right now, as they go in, they're going to their lockers. They're going to go check their playbooks out real quick. They're going to go look over some last minute and make some adjustments that they have to do that they figure, maybe I haven't thought of this. So they're going to go get those last minute touches before they go out there and put it all out on the field.
Absolutely. While the Browns players go into the locker room, we're going to go into the national perspective. And we've got a great group for you. Chris Rose, Joe Thomas, and Andrew Hawkins. It is our national perspective brought to you by Global Transport.
Nathan, thank you very much. We are all prepped and ready tonight for basically what's going to look like a game. And so I ask you, Joe Thomas, where's your jersey? I mean, Hawks are wearing ours. What is this?
You know, I didn't get the issue gear, but I still am repping Steve's Hot Dogs, a Cleveland institution. A great place in Cleveland if you've never checked it out.
Always an advertisement with this guy.
I get no benefit from pumping Steve's hot dogs except to let you guys know, because I love you so much, that you're missing out on the world's greatest hot dogs if you haven't been there.
Exactly what a spokesman would say. All right, continue, Chris. I apologize.
I'm not getting paid.
Thank you there, Big Cheese. All right, guys, what are you most looking forward to tonight? Andrew Hawkins.
Yeah, I want to see the offense mesh. I mean, the first scrimmage, there were a couple of hiccups there, and, that's to be expected, obviously, with, the receivers on a pitch count, not really going live in the running game, and, Austin Hooper also in and out. I want to see them mesh a little bit more a little early on, right? I want to get the running game going, really use those tight ends, and get a real feel for what it's going to be like during the season, because I feel like that's an important part of this scrimmage tonight.
Yeah, for me, the magic word for tonight is smooth. And it's exactly what Andrew said, right? They need to smooth out all the little errors that they've been making up to this point in training camp. No procedural penalties. They need to be able to get in and out of the huddle, make sure that there's no substitution errors on offense. And I want to see Baker to continue to progress and show that he's making big strides in his decision-making from where he was last year. On Sunday, in the last time that they practiced really intensely at the stadium, Baker did a really nice job deciding when to throw the football away, when to take the dump down to the running back, when to hit his tight ends. And that really shows a progression in his understanding of when to take those chances down the field and when to just take the safe play, get the ball to Kareem Hunt, get the ball in Nick Chubb's hands, let them get you 5 yards and go and live for another play, another down. So really just continuing to watch Baker's progression and watching the smoothness of that offense.
All right, guys, I hate to say this, but we're less than 24 hours away from cutdown day. And this year it's harder than any season because there are no preseason games. I mean, this is basically it tonight. So you got to get down to 53. Give me one guy out there, Joe Thomas, that you're keeping your eyes on tonight.
Yeah, I want to watch Donovan Olumba, the great Portland State Viking cornerback. He's a big cornerback. He's had a really nice training camp so far. And the reason I mentioned that name is because just in a few days, the Browns are going to be traveling to Baltimore. And they got this guy who's pretty good named Lamar Jackson. But one thing I know about Lamar Jackson, the Achilles heel, is if you have a secondary full of big guys that can tackle, you can play zone coverage so you can keep your eye on your man, but you can also keep your eye in the backfield for that quarterback. That's a way to kind of contain the running quarterback a little bit. And I think that if you keep him around and he continues to progress, he can provide you a big weapon when you're game planning for those really good running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on him tonight because I think the Browns could have some big plans with him in their game plan, thinking about the Ravens being the favorites in the AFC North, not the Big Ten.
Did you almost called it the Big Ten?
I almost said the Big Ten because I'm a little excited. There were some rumors about the Big Ten maybe coming back, but it's the AFC North.
Joe, fun fact for you about Donovan Olumba. Do you know who his cornerback coach was?
Andrew Hawkins.
False. Close. Avery Hawkins. Andrew Hawkins' older brother was his cornerback coach at Alderson Broaddus University before Olumba played so well that he transferred up to Portland State. And now he is on the brink of being a Cleveland Brown. So I am with you 110%. Been watching that kid since he was a freshman or sophomore in college. Big kid, late bloomer, but really came into his own, and he is hungry about the game. So what you're seeing from him now is actually still a raw project. He is still really coming to his own as a cornerback, man. But he's a special talent, and I couldn't agree with you more. I'm going to give you another player to watch out for. And by player, I mean multiple. And I'm going with every receiver behind Jarvis Landry and OBJ. That number 3 spot is still not solidified yet. So for tonight, this is a big opportunity for a lot of those receivers. You talked about it, Chris. No preseason games. So you're going to have to make these decisions off of these kind of big moments that you've tried to elevate above the regular practices that they've been going through. You know, for a guy like me, I probably wouldn't have been in the NFL without preseason games. For all these other receivers, tonight is a big moment, from the Hodges to the Higgins to, JoJo Natson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, you name it. These guys have an opportunity to step up, make some big plays today, and make the coaches and the rest of the offense feel really good about who that number 3 and potentially number 4 receivers are.
All right, 9 days from now, the Browns will be in Baltimore to take on the 2-time defending AFC North, not the Big Ten, but the AFC North champion, Baltimore Ravens. Now, let's remember, last time they were there, Browns probably played their best game of the year, 40-25 winners, had 530 total yards. They moved up and down the field. They did enough to force 3 turnovers, etc. What are your expectations, Joe Thomas, for opening day?
Well, it's a tough way to open the Kevin Stefanski era. Obviously, the Ravens were in the regular season last year, probably the best team in the NFL. When you have a shortened offseason like we dealt with COVID, the teams that have that experience, that have been together, that have been in that offense, been in that defense for a long time, have the biggest advantage. And so the Browns are behind the 8 ball, and they're going against a team that was really hot last year until they stubbed their toe a little bit in the playoffs. So it's going to be an uphill battle, especially going to Baltimore, the number 2 offense in the league last year, the number 4 defense. So it's definitely going to be a big test. But I think here's where the Browns can win this game, right? If they can start running the football efficiently, if they have Nick Chubb and he's going to average over 5 yards a carry, I think they can play good enough defense to limit that Ravens offense and to be able to control the football, play kind of small ball, limit the number of possessions. They've got an opportunity to keep it a low-scoring game. And then if they can make 4 or 5 big plays in the passing game, which this offense is going to be set up well to make, Kevin Stefanski, when he's running the football, is going to be really good at setting up that play-action pass. We've got a great down-the-field threat with OBJ. We can hit our tight ends. So if we can make 4 or 5 big plays in the passing game and we can run the ball effectively, shorten the number of possessions in a game, I think we're going to have a chance when it comes down to that fourth quarter. And it's going to be kind of who has the football last, who can kick that field goal or get into the end zone to win that football game.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, Joe. I mean, I know this camp, we have such a star-studded offense that typically seems to be the topic of everything we always talk about. But this is going to come down to the defense. I think they're up for the challenge early on, and it bodes well because what's going to happen early in the season, because there's no preseason game, offenses are going to be a little slow to start. That typically happens. So I think that actually gives an advantage to our defense because they typically get out to a faster start when there is limited reps in the form of games or preseasons or playing against other teams. So I'm hoping we can take advantage of the slow start we expect from the Ravens as well. And this defense can really contain this run, man. Because if they can contain the run or at least mitigate it from what we've seen a year ago, there is a big opportunity because our running game is also really well. We have so many weapons on offense. Probably the best offensive weapons in the National Football League.
All right, finally, Andrew Hawkins, you're Ivy League educated. Joe Thomas, you know where most of the Ivy League schools are. How do you guys feel about a pop quiz?
Wisconsin, it's the Harvard of the Midwest.
Here we
go.
Let
me fail.
I'll put it on the blackboard or the whiteboard.
Here we go.
The Browns will make the playoffs if Joe
they
Thomas
win the division. This is easy.
Look at that. He did get a 4.0 from an Ivy League school. It was in underwater basket weaving, yes, but it was still 4.0.
They don't call me the water genius for nothing, Joe.
Here's what it is for me. If Nick Chubb averages 4.5 yards per carry at the end of the season, they will make the playoffs because that is the formula for success in this Kevin Stefanski offense. The run sets up the big plays on offense. That's where you get your scores in this offense is those big chunk plays, whether that be the running game or play action, throw the football down the field to OBJ or one of your tight ends. If they run the football, they can make those big plays in the passing game. If they're not running the football very effectively, they're not going to be able to do anything. So it all comes down to that 4.5 yards per carry or above for Nick Chubb.
I'm going to go with if Baker Mayfield throws less than 13 interceptions this year, they will be a playoff team. If he can control those possessions, so those one possessions in games matter so much. If he can limit the interceptions, that means the running game is working. That means he is on fire as a quarterback. Then I think they will make the playoffs in 2020.
All right, smart guy. You gave me a smart aleck answer when you said they'll make the playoffs if they win the division. Another pop quiz. The last time the Browns won the division, what year was that?
Joe, take it away.
Was it 1994?
No, they made the playoffs that year.
They won a playoff game in 94.
Yep. Steelers in the division that year.
89.
Yes! 80.
Oh, Hawk.
Bingo.
Very nicely done. That's why we pay him the big bucks.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy tonight's festivities. Joe, hopefully you'll get that brown shirt in the mail sometime in the near future. And I like relish and ketchup on my dog. Okay?
I appreciate it. Yeah, the UPS, it's been real slow these days. I don't know. I think Hawk is intentionally slowing things down.
All right, let's send it back to Big Dog. Nathan.
Much, Chris. Great job there on the national perspective with the guys. Nathan Zagura, Josh Cribbs with you here at First Energy Stadium. And the Browns are going to go through their normal pregame. I'm talking entrances. I think we're going to have the defense announced. Then we're going to get some team periods on the field. I don't know how much, but we will get some team periods there. And before we get to that, though, I wanted to remind you that it's time to talk about today's Pro Shop item of the day, the ladies' dry top Van tee that's on sale today for only $20. Look at that, a beautiful V-neck. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Call the Pro Shop at 440-824-3427 to place your order, or go to First Energy Stadium right now to get your very own. Today, the store has been updated for a clean and safe shopping experience and is open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The best part is all net proceeds to benefit the Cleveland Browns Foundation. Nathan Zagura, Josh Cribbs. All right, Josh. Guys who are on the bubble, what's going through their mind? You're an undrafted free agent. It's tougher this year than ever. You don't have that game tape out there. What are you thinking here? As you know, in less than 24 hours now, by 4 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to be, yeah, you're on, right, tentatively, or no, I'm sorry, but we want to hopefully bring you back to the practice squad.
Leave no doubt in your own mind. No what-if moments. Put it all out there on the field. I'm thinking back to when I was in that same position on the bubble trying to figure out if I would make the cut. I didn't want to have no what-ifs. If I would have did this, maybe I would have made it. If I would have ran this route correctly, maybe I would have made it. You have to leave yourself no opportunity to say, what if? Leave it out on the field, and whatever happens, happen. And that's how it is in NFL. A lot of times it's not fair. They already sometimes made up their mind based off of outside factors out of your control. Leave it on the field and let what's going to happen, happen.
That's perfectly good advice, and I think they've tried to follow it the best they can. I think a lot of that hay is in the barn, though. A lot of the evaluation, I think tonight, whatever team periods we do see, I think will be limited. Maybe it will ratchet up when the threes get out there, because those are guys that are saying, hey, this is my last chance to show something out there tonight. But a lot of guys getting little kind of veteran days. You won't see Joel Bitonio out there. It was good to see J.C. Treader. We saw him on the sideline earlier. You won't see Andrew Sendejo either, but we will be back at First Energy Stadium with the intros and much, much more Browns action on Browns Live Training Camp, presented by University Hospitals.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack. And every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at University Hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a wife and a mom to two sweet girls. I see the people of our community every day. They have questions, and honestly, they're concerned about their health and medications. So they come to Drug Mart Pharmacy just like their parents did, because they know we will always help them, whatever they need, whatever questions they have. My fellow pharmacists and I are proud and truly humbled that you have put your trust in us during this challenging time. Discount Drug Mart is here for you, always.
Snapple Apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And one, and two, shake now, stomp. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler. And cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
All right, we are back. You hear the music. The Browns offense has come out of the tunnel. They are on the visitor sideline. Select members of the defense have come out, and they are on the home sideline. Let's go down to the field now for the Browns introductions.
At linebacker from Chattanooga, number 55, Tay Davis. At linebacker from BYU, number 44, Sione Taki. At defensive back from Oregon, number 39, Terrence Mitchell. At defensive back from The Ohio State University, number 21, Denzel Ward. At defensive back from Miami, Florida, number 29, Sheldrick Redwine. At defensive back from West Virginia, number 42, Carl Joseph. At defensive tackle from UCLA, number 91, Elianku. At defensive tackle from Missouri, number 98, Sheldon Richardson. At defensive end from Miami, Florida, number 54, Olivier Vernon. And at defensive end from Texas A&M, number 95, Myles Garrett. Your Cleveland Browns.
Right, as you saw the intros there, we have a message from head coach Kevin Stefanski coming your way shortly. But as we said, the Browns defense comes out. They get the introductions, and that's got to be a great feeling as a player to get that introduction. And what we hope to be eventually, once again, a full house at First Energy. Say, is there anything better?
It's nothing when you're out here playing in front of your home fans. And their fans out there, their family and friends out there watching these guys play. I think the defense deserved to be called. If you think about how training camp went, defense started off setting the tone. They really never had a bad day. This, however, is teasing me, Nathan. I want to see these guys suit up. I almost can't wait to see these guys game one against the Ravens. I think they're ready.
I think they're ready as well, and that was a nice sight that we just saw. Greedy Williams standing with Mack Wilson. And Wilson, as we know, will not need surgery on that knee, out 4 to 6 weeks, and that was a couple of weeks ago. So Mack Wilson could certainly be back early in the season, and the team also excited about getting Greedy Williams back, and hopefully he will indeed be ready to go for week one against the Baltimore Ravens. As you see Money Mitch talking with defensive backs coach Jeff Howard, that's Wilson there in the bucket hat right in front of him. And it's great to see Mac. It's been a while since we have seen him in anything out here as he's been going through his rehab, trying to get back. As you see him standing there with Greedy Williams, talking to Jacob Phillips, getting Jacob fired up. And Mac was as happy as anybody about Ronnie Harrison getting traded here. The two played together, obviously, at Alabama. And so there you see Mac Wilson, and that is a great sight, Browns fans. Mac and Greedy, both with smiles, both looking good, and both hopefully nearing a return to the field. Those are the big guys up front. Eli Anku, we talked about him competing with Daniel Akwale likely for that fourth defensive tackle spot, and he got the intro tonight, which is probably a pretty good thing and maybe a good indication that Eli Anku is a guy working with the starters, as you see Larry Ogunjobi getting the day off as well as the Browns go through this kind of rehearsal. And again, much more of an operational rehearsal than it will be a full-out football rehearsal for this team. As we said, defense on the home sideline, they are wearing the whites with the brown pants and the orange stripes down the side. The offense wearing the brown uniforms. They are on the visitors' sideline just below us here. And Josh, a little calm before the storm. The specialists getting their final work in, a few punts there as we've seen, and this team getting ready to go through kind of their exercises, little team periods. I bet we'll get even a simulated halftime and then, wrap this thing up here as you're seeing Larry Ogunjobi with a sign there, and unfortunately the glare prevented us from reading it, but he was showing it up on the big board. I think it said something like the offense is scared. That's what I read on it. That's what I saw.
Look, I think that this practice, this preparation right here is really monumental when you look at mentally preparing for a game, the excitement surrounding it, especially in the times that we're living in right now, how the stadiums will probably look and everything that's going on.
All right, let's go now.
Welcome, Browns fans. Thanks for being here. Before we officially get started, do you guys want to have some fun? Do you want to see us compete? All right, defense. I need a defense alignment on the field. Offense, I need an offense alignment on the field. Porter, you're ineligible. You did it last time. I want to see if these guys can catch a punt. Waiting on you, defensive line. There you go, Sheldon. All right, Toth, you're up first, bud. Jamie, let it rip. All right, Sheldon's up. Nice job, 9-8. All right, we've missed you guys down in Berea. Has not been the same without the Browns fans. We feel your passion, but we missed you out there. So it's great to have you in our building. Thank you for being here. This is a passionate fan base. I found out firsthand. I feel your passion from Northeast Ohio and really from the Browns backers all around the world. So on behalf of the team, again, thanks for being here. What you're going to see tonight is a workout. We called it a dress rehearsal. As you can see, we're all dressed up. But I think this team that you'll see out here is a team that is not afraid to work. And that's what they've done from the moment we got started way back in April. They've worked. And that's what I appreciate about this group. You know, we have a saying here, we're no bark, all bite. And I think you're going to see that from this group, that at the end of the day, we're about the work. And we're real excited to get started on September 13th. And again, thanks for being here.
All right, that's our head coach, Kevin Stefanski, thanking the fans in attendance here at First Energy Stadium. A little fun there on the punts there. Yeah, John Toth. Maybe didn't get the best advice, Josh. You could have helped him out.
Yeah, I heard one of his guys say back, but you could tell by the flight of the ball if you've been looking at enough punts that it was going to come forward, so he had to stay where he was. Even though it appeared to go back, the spin was going to bring the ball back forward. And you saw that, who's that, Sheldon Richardson,
yeah.
He was able to catch one, so I was happy to see him tuck the elbows in and make a good catch.
He certainly did, and you wonder if the Scottish Hammer seemed like he put a little bit of that funny spin on the one to the offensive side, but the guy wearing the white jersey, Sheldon, that was a nice little spiral, and it turned over. The first one never turned over and kind of faded back.
He did put a little something different. I was like, oh, man, you made it kind of difficult for those guys. So he didn't hit a nice, easy blooper to those guys. He allowed them to have fun. I, in fact, admired that part in Stefanski, recognizing the fans and how important this great fan base is to the football team, is to the city, and kind of putting it out there in the forefront. Look, I know how important it is, and to have his players have that camaraderie.
All right, so we see the Browns on the field. Now the starting offense, Baker Mayfield, and these are what Coach Stefanski calls perfect plays. You will see they are going on air, and he just wants them to go through and execute these flawlessly. And the first one, a toss to Nick Chubb as David Njoku makes his way in off the sideline. So this is what you're not going to see, as we said. You're not risking contact with anybody that you are expecting to play a big role. Certainly the starters there, as we mentioned, Joel Bitonio getting the day off. Evan Brown, number 63, working at his familiar spot at left guard. And Brown's a guy who's been in the league now for a couple of years. And Brown, number 63, as I mentioned, 2 years out of Southern Miss, has spent time with the Giants and the Dolphins, and I think likely considered your top backup center to Nick Harris while J.C. Treader is out, and certainly could be a backup guard as you see a little stretch play handoff to Nick Chubb down the left side. And again, these are called perfect plays. We know it's on air. We know it is not full speed. It's about getting the look and just executing each little detail that you need to as though you would in a game.
Yes, they want these guys to be moving as fast as they can once they call these plays in the game. Hey, it's no thought behind it. They've been doing it with repetition, doing their blocking assignments, their run plays, and they want them to go as fast as they can. It's no thought. When the game cuts on, when the lights happen, full speed, everything going out.
The Browns come out now in the shotgun. Baker Mayfield. He's got Jarvis Landry. He's got Donovan Peoples-Jones and Kaderil Hodge, the receivers. Kareem Hunt, the back to his left. Mayfield slides, shifts, and hits Jarvis for a nice little pass. And Jarvis runs it on down near the end line as they spot the ball at about the 21-yard line to the Browns. And again, these are perfect plays. We are aware there's no defense out there. Just going through the looks, the reads, getting guys out there. And these are the guys getting that work. You see Pharaoh Brown getting in there as well. Hodge, Johnny Stanton in at fullback, getting that work, getting comfortable with some of these quote-unquote perfect plays as they get ready to take on the Baltimore Ravens now in just 9 days. Steve Carlson in motion there behind Baker. Just a little handoff right in the gut to Kareem Hunt as the offense matriculates the ball down the field, as Kevin Stefanski likes to say, and he will do that in any way. We've seen mostly runs, one pass there from Baker to Jarvis. And what about that no bark, all bite mentality? You like that. This was a team that last year there was a lot of talk coming out of Berea, a lot of talk about this team, a lot of hype, and obviously we know it didn't measure up. This year, very quiet from these guys. Nobody's making bold predictions. And that speaks to it. No bark, all bite. We're going to do our talking on the field.
We call that no bulletin board material. Don't give the team anything that they can use as ammunition.
And there is Baker Mayfield dropping back, throwing to the left, and that's big Pharaoh Brown. Touchdown, Browns. What a celebration. Pharaoh taking Jarvis down. It's Jubilation City at First Energy Stadium on the shores of Lake Erie. Baker bumping with Pharaoh Brown, and the offense, boy, it almost looked like there was no defense out there, how effective they were, Josh.
Listen, Baker, when he's passing in this perfect play situation, watch as he's up again. He goes through a progression. He acts like there's a defense out there, like this guy is covered. Okay, this is my number 2 guy. I'm going to hit him. He goes through his full progression like they do in practice during film study. They doing the same thing out here because it's all mental.
Austin Seibert on for the extra point, and the kick is up, and the kick is good as equipment manager Brad Mellon signals there. And so the Browns go down. Again, perfect plays. We realize there is no defense out there, but just getting the looks, getting the feel on the field, and then Seibert with the extra point, and that's exactly what you wanted to see as they look good in these uniforms, getting a little feel, coming out what it's like for that first drive for the Browns here. Nice execution. I imagine we'll see something similar from the starting defense as well as they get little kind of dummy looks and make their plays.
Yes, and as a coach, you know, when you go through these perfect play situations, whether it be on special teams, offense, or defense, this almost gives the coach ammunition that if you don't get this right during the game, and we did this perfect play situation in practice, you're gonna hear about it if you mess up something during the game when we practiced it this much in preparation mentally so you can go out there and go fast. This gives the coach a lot of ammunition. Hey, you mess this up, you're going to hear from me. I'm going to take off these headsets and you're going to hear an earful.
That's right. It's got to be perfect. No excuses. You hear kind of the crowd noise behind us kind of matching the touchdown and getting those sounds, the real sounds of football again. Certainly they are good. We know the NFL season will kick off in just 6 days with the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs as the Browns now we're going to see a little bit of a look, and these will be quote-unquote kind of the perfect plays from the defensive side as we see the team led out onto the field. The third string offense, Kevin Davidson, your quarterback, the rookie out of Princeton, and they will go in kind of what I would say a half-speed look against the Browns starting defense. B.J. Goodson not out there as they thud him up into the hole. Sione Takitaki on the tackle. And so you're going to go through at a very kind of slow, a slower half speed here as they move the ball down the field and just kind of give them a couple situations and a couple looks for your starting defense tonight. As we told you, Andrew Sendejo not practicing, Sheldrick Redwine in his spot, B.J. Goodson also not out there. Your linebackers, Tay Davis, Sione Takitaki, and Jacob Phillips, the rookie from LSU. As Davidson leads his offense out onto the field in a 3-receiver single back set. Pharaoh Brown, the tight end, in motion behind him. And he turns and gives to Hilliard on a run to the right, and Richardson and Jacob Phillips with the little tackle there. So just going through some looks, and for a defense, it's much harder to go against air than it would be an offense. So you're seeing Kevin Davidson lead that group out there just to kind of give them a look.
Yes, and they're not just going through the motions. They're thudding him up, so they're coming, squaring him off with nice fundamentals, and they're giving him nice little pop before they let him go. And even at the cornerback position, you'll see when they're in man-to-man or zone, they're going through the motion like he's a real receiver, another team, and they're following them guys all the way down the field because they don't know the play. This is not scripted.
And you listen, you hear the crowd behind us, and I know there are not as many people in the stands as the noise would indicate. As we see Davidson in the shotgun taking the snap, he is looking down the middle, fires for Steve Carlson, and right there in coverage, Takitaki and Sheldrick Redwine. Time now for today's Dog of the Day, brought to you by Sugardale, and it's Dustin Weaver. Dustin has been a Browns fan since birth, and one of his favorite memories came last year while on their honeymoon. He and his wife spent $100 on Wi-Fi just to watch the Sunday night football game against the Rams. He says he has watched games on land, at sea, and now in the air. He says, I am a dog through and through. Dustin, we salute you. Congratulations on being today's Dog of the Day. All right, we will be back with more of the action here from First Energy Stadium. Again, this is an operational rehearsal for the Browns. Not a ton of football action, but we'll be back with it more here on Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
The health and well-being of Ohioans is our top priority. That's why we offer high-quality health insurance plans for you and your family, with access to the doctors and hospitals you know and trust, plus dental, vision, and wellness plans to help you achieve and maintain your best health. We give you peace of mind so you can enjoy life's best moments. We are here for you, today and every day. Medical Mutual, the official health insurer of everything you love.
At Union Home Mortgage, we're committed to your goals. Whether it's a cash-out refinance to cover the cost of her college tuition, more room for new memories to grow, or to buy a home for the very first time. Whatever your goal, what matters to you matters to us too. And we promise, we won't stop working until you get there. Make your dream a reality with Union Home Mortgage. Promises kept.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
Snapple apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And one, and two, shake now, stomp. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler, and cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
As we've told you throughout camp, the Browns are holding a special charity auction with special experience and items to benefit the Browns Foundation Stay in the Game education program. Today's experience is a chance to have a Thursday night football watch party for you and 9 friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Now that's cool, but it gets better. You will be joined by Browns legends Bernie Kosar and Hanford Dixon, the top dog and the great Bernie Kosar. Bernie, and you at Buffalo Wild Wings and 9 Friends. Come on, bid on this item right now. Visit browns.com/auctions. All right, Nathan Segura, Josh Cribbs, First Energy Stadium as the Browns going through their final practice of the year before they trim this roster to 53 players at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll get you back down on the field as Case Keenum has the second team offense out there. Now, this is not on air. There is a defense there. Again, they are not tackling, no live periods here. Going through, getting some good looks, though, as Keenum drops back to pass. He looks right, swings it out to D. Ernest Johnson. Little move there on Tavier Thomas, and D. Ernest showing again those nice little moves, those soft hands out of the backfield here and trying to do anything they can. There's not a ton of opportunity here, but you're trying to execute whatever job is asked of you in these periods, execute it to the best of your ability.
Right, and communication. Communication between the players and each other and the players and the coaches and coaches and coach by coach communication. The procedures are going on all across the board. This is a dress rehearsal. Any issues that come up during this part, they will fix before game 1.
Absolutely, as they're going through the things that we haven't got to see is up the middle, blowing that up. Daniel Aquale gets into the backfield, and that play was over before it started as Aquale was able to knife through there, working against Evan Brown. And a good play in Aquale, another good player, a guy that was on this roster a year ago, had a nice season, appearing in about 7 games for the Browns, competing with Eli Ankou for that 4th defensive tackle spot, because we know about Larry and Sheldon and certainly Jordan Elliott, the rookie. Again, tough decisions, but that's good. That's a sign of a football team that's getting better. As Aquale, certainly a guy who can play in the league, and he's battling, as I mentioned, with Eli Ankou for that spot. Keenum throws it out to the left. Taywan Taylor with the grab there, and he goes out of bounds for the Browns at about the 30-yard line, and they'll bring in the hammer, the Scottish hammer, to punt the ball back the other side to JoJo Natson, who's back there deep to return by himself, so nobody to set up a return, but they will set up their coverage. The coverage guys are going to get a look here. And, Josh, it looks like JoJo gets a lot of work during these things, and you wonder, do they have room for a guy who's strictly a return specialist? Something we haven't seen as much lately in the NFL. There are a few guys that have kind of earned that right. Natson himself with the Rams for the last 2 years. Donovan Peoples-Jones could do it, and as you go through and you have to make these tough roster decisions, that's something to weigh. Do we have a spot for what would be a 4th specialist out of our 53?
Right, and when you're looking at it and you're trying to find out what can you get out of today's practice as a general manager, I think that if anything, this day they already know kind of who they want on their football team, but this day can hurt you if you're out there dropping passes as a receiver, going through easy situations, dropping punt returns, missing field goal. These procedural things that if you don't become perfect at it, because everybody should be able to easily do their job during this type of practice, I think you can get hurt more than you can help yourself at this point.
Certainly, I think it'd be a mental error would show up in a big way here. To see Garrett Gilbert going onto the field, got a few words from head coach Kevin Stefanski before heading out onto the field. As you see JoJo Natson, who we just talked about, Damian Ratley, Benny LeMay out there, Pharaoh Brown and Steve Carlson making their way in from the sidelines as well to join this offensive unit going against the defense and giving these guys, again, some good looks. Chad Thomas, the guy we talked about earlier, out there with the defense. You see Garrett Gilbert, Kendall Lamb, Willie Wright as well out there for the Browns now as they're kind of figuring out a situation. Both sides talking to one another. We see Callie Brownson making her way over to talk to Coach Stefanski just below Josh and I as you take a look at the Browns huddle there as Gilbert and company getting ready to go. They got their water. They're clearing that out. And now Stefanski on the headset. Looks like he has got his sheet and he's talking in there. And so one of the things we still don't know is what that operation is going to look like from a play calling standpoint. We've seen Alex Van Pelt on the walkie-talkie at times. Today we see Kevin Stefanski with the headset on as well down there on the sideline. So they're going through all of these things. And as Kevin Stefanski said all along, I'll make the announcement of what we're doing on games when it's time to make such an announcement. And so that's something we still don't know yet, but it's something that the Browns are working through, and they've worked through multiple scenarios, and they'll decide what they feel is the best thing to go with on game day. day.
That's why this scenario, this game right here, this practice is so important, not just for the players, but for the coaches as well, to see how they will communicate to each other. Should another coach be in the box? Should you have to, communicate with this? Should I have these headsets? Because coaches have different headsets depending on what side of the ball you are on. Stefanski has the universal headset who can talk to all sides, special teams and defense and offense. So they're trying to work things out, and this is what this day is for.
Garrett Gilbert leads the team now to the line of scrimmage. He is under center with Benny LeMay behind him in the backfield. Natson comes on a quick motion, and there's that end around, and this is where JoJo can do some things. See Montrell meander, say, no, I got him. Tagged him up. I got him. That play's dead there. That's one of the ones that's always a little bit tougher when it's not live there for the defense, but certainly did a good job there getting the ball to JoJo, and that's one of the things that we've seen consistently with him. In addition to the punt return duties, we've seen him a lot on some of those end around and wide receiver reverses.
Did you see meander? Did you see how he was kind of showing a little bit of excitement to say, I would have had him. He's doing whatever he can to try to make this team. So guys are trying to be where they're supposed to be, give themselves the best opportunity.
Gilbert drops back, and a nice little shot over to Donovan Peoples-Jones on the sideline, pushed out of bounds by Rob Jackson, and Peoples-Jones continues. He just looks good when you watch the way that he runs. You watch the way he runs his routes, the way he is a hands catcher, and that's always something I like to look for with wide receivers. He does not let the ball get on his body. He always gets out in front of it and catches it with his hands.
Big receiver, has to use his body, has to use his speed, has a lot of attributes that he has to dial up every time he's out there on the field.
Turn and a give there to Benny LeMay, sliding off the left side, and looks like he had a nice little crease. And he's shown some good bursts. This guy, LeMay, was the all-time leading rusher in Charlotte history, was the offensive MVP of the East-West Shrine game, and somebody, again, a different body style than any of our backs, about 230 pounds. He's somebody that could be on the practice squad. And a lot of these guys who are saying, look, I understand I'm not competing for the 53. I could be competing to be on this practice squad, stay in this organization, and wait my time, whether it's injury or whether it's another year in the system, to get an opportunity to play.
And that's why not having that preseason is so kind of, hit you like, wow, I wanted to see a guy like that play in preseason to see how he is and how he can help this football team.
There we see a little play action from Gilbert, who looks to the left, finds Steve Carlson just over the outstretched hand of Solomon Ajayi, and Carlson has had a couple catches on the day today. Gilbert looking sharp, and this Browns quarterback room, it is a very good room, from Baker to Case Keenum, and Gilbert is a very solid third quarterback, considering he was our number 2 a year ago, and now in his place is Keenum, who's taken a team to an NFC championship game a couple of years ago. As you look at Gilbert in the huddle, as the offense moving the ball down, they're calling it a little about 3rd and about 4 at the opposing 46, as you see Gilbert in the shotgun, looking to pick up this first down, takes the snap, drops back, he looks left, goes down the seam looking for Taywan Taylor and throws him open, working against Tavier Thomas. Taylor was looking over his right shoulder. Gilbert lofted it over the left shoulder with enough time for Taylor to make the adjustment and make the catch. And Taylor, again, a talented player, a former third-round pick. And you just wonder, is there enough room for him in what has become a very crowded and talented, all of a sudden, Browns wide receiver room with Peoples-Jones and Kaderil Hodge and Ratley being back, and JoJo Natson perhaps taking a spot, and Hollywood and Jarvis and Odell. So
I'm about to say the names keep going.
They keep going.
What you saw from Taylor right there, that's consistency. He's been doing that all training camp. He's been doing it since he's been here. So like you said, you rattled out all those names. That's a lot of talent at one position.
All right, we're nearing $60,000 on the Browns 50-50. And again, this goes until 10 o'clock tonight. Visit the website on your screen, browns5050.com. And again, an opportunity here. Put $30,000 in your pocket. That's great. The other opportunity, though, is to know, and it's not an opportunity, it's a guarantee to do good for people in Northeast Ohio. The Cleveland Browns Foundation, stay in the game, keep learning every day. They receive half of the net proceeds, as well as shoes and clothes for kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit. And we know winter is coming up. You want to make sure that our kids have those shoes and clothes. So go to browns5050.com right now, or on the Browns mobile app. Get your raffle ticket and a chance to turn a little bit of cheddar into a whole lot of cheese and know you're doing a good thing while you do it. Speaking of good, Austin Seibert, the kick was up. And the kick was good right there, Josh, as he's 2 for 2 on the day, kicking here in First Energy Stadium. And they're going through now the kicking drill. Seibert backed up. This will be a 41-yarder going away from the dog pound. Denzel Ward almost got his hand on that one, and that kick is up. and that kick is good from Seibert. Denzel Ward gets around the corner, and that's something you noticed when you guys were scouting him coming out of Ohio State, and he's had a couple of blocks there, two blocks for the Browns in his career as well.
Yeah, he came off the edge pretty fast. I think he tried to get that.
I think he tried to as well.
Seibert was looking like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing?
But good concentration from Seibert, who gets it through. Now we're going to try another one from the left hash. This kick about 43 yards. The ball down to the 33. Seibert's kick is up, and it is right down Broadway, as that is a beautiful kicking display from Austin Seibert. That's the kind of confidence you want to have, obviously, going into week one, as we'll move over now to the right hash. Keep the same distance there. This, though, we're backing it up 5 yards. This one's going to be about a 48-yarder, as the ball will be put down. The hold will be placed down at about the 38-yard line on the right hash. So Seibert in very good form right there. All of those kicks right down the middle.
Yes, and Denzel was adding that pressure to Seibert's kick. The operation time has to be, on point. So they can't just say go through the motions. You got a defense out there. You got guys that's going to actually try to block it, and that makes him better come game time.
All right, Seibert from 48 yards on the right hash. The ball is down. The kick from Seibert is up. It's got tons of leg, and it is right down the middle. As Seibert putting on a show, and this is what you want to see. Listen, that game against the Ravens, it's going to be competitive. Could come down to a field goal, and they've got a great one in Justin Tucker. The Browns feel very confident in Seibert, who is looking good right now. Time now for our daily trivia question, brought to you by Howard Hannon. I think I spoiled this one if you were paying attention earlier in the show. Who scored the first touchdown of 2019? That is the question. The answer on the other side. And in case you're wondering, Seibert good from over 50, just like we're good here on Browns Live Training Camp, presented by University Hospitals.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack. And every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
At Union Home Mortgage, we're committed to your goals. Whether it's a cash-out refinance to cover the cost of her college tuition, more room for new memories to grow, or to buy a home for the very first time. Whatever your goal, what matters to you matters to us too. And we promise we won't stop working until you get there. Make your dream a reality with Union Home Mortgage. Promises kept.
At Discount Drug Mart, we work hard to keep our patients up to date with their immunizations, especially those at high risk.
We take into account our patients' age, medical conditions, and past immunization history.
Immunizations are just as important to your health as diet and exercise, but can be taken care of with just one visit, effectively protecting yourself and your loved ones.
Stop at your local Discount Drug Mart
and see us for an immunization review today.
Discount Drug Mart, your immunization destination.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack. And every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Snapple apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And one, and two, shake now, stomp. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler, and cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
All right, as you are looking at the boats going by there, the trivia question from Howard Hanna. Who scored the first touchdown in 2019? That's right, it was Dontrell Hilliard following a block from David Njoku from 4 yards out, and that was the Browns' first score. It was a big pass to Hollywood Higgins that set that one up, and Dontrell said, I'm getting up in the dog pound, and boom, there he did, jumping in with the crowd. glory days. There's a look at Dontrell Hilliard now in the huddle with the Browns. Case Keenum leading that group out there. You see Donovan Peoples-Jones as well there as Taywan Taylor, Jamarcus Bradley. Now you're looking at Nathan Segura and our great Josh Cribbs here with you at First Energy Stadium as the Browns continue going through their paces here. Nice kicking display from Seibert. The only miss coming from 53 yards out. And now looks like they're kind of taking the transition. And here we go, Case Keenum and this offense back on the field. Keenum in the shotgun with Hilliard on his right hip. Donovan Peoples-Jones split out to the right by himself. Two receivers at the top of your screen, Bradley and Taylor. It's Keenum looking for Peoples-Jones. Oh, it's Taywan Taylor, I'm sorry, with the nice catch working on Donovan Olumba. And it looks like they're going maybe a little first down there. Move the ball period as they get it up to about the 46-yard line, and a very nicely thrown ball. Good coverage from Olumba, who was right there. Nice route from Taylor. Good ball, good catch, and they were able to get it done as they go with the same group there. Steve Carlson is your tight end. Peoples-Jones, Jamarcus Bradley, Taywan Taylor, your receivers. This time Donovan Peoples-Jones coming split right by himself. Bradley in the slot, Taylor all the way up top, and you've got Dontrell Hilliard on the right hip with Carlson in the slot. Keenum drops back, looks, fires over the middle. It's Bradley, and he's touched down by Tavier Thomas immediately. And, yes, they're going through a little bit of a 2-minute scenario here, something we went on earlier in our Football 101, brought to you by Ohio Cat, as always. Keenum moves Hilliard over to the right side, takes the ball in the shotgun, looks. It's a little screen play. Solomon Ajayi gets out there. Good block in front of him, and he is tagged down again. But a nice job getting out there and leading the way. Looked like number 63, Evan Brown, with the good block. And Keenum saying, we got to clock this thing. Let's clock it. And they get it down. Indeed, they do. 30 seconds on the clock here as the Browns trying to move and get Austin Seibert another field goal opportunity, or maybe even get it into the end zone. Why not? But the Browns about 30 seconds here. They've got the ball 2nd down and 10 at the 42-yard line as Keenum looks to get these guys here. It's a scenario. They're down 3 is the scenario. It's 13-10. Down 3. They've got the ball on the opposing 42. Trying to get in field goal range. Keenum sends Bradley to the slot to the right along with Steve Carlson. Trips formation to the right. Carlson in the slot. Peoples-Jones singled up on the left side. He's got Dontrell Hilliard on his left hip. The snap is back. Keenum looking left. Quick fires out to, and they run a little rub route there to Dontrell Hilliard, who wisely gets out of bounds all the way down to about, I'd say, the 21-yard line. And that was a nice little play. They caught him in man coverage, and they were able to get the linebacker rubbing right into the slant by Donovan Peoples-Jones, and that's what you can do with a big receiver.
But that's what you can do with a guy like Hilliard.
Absolutely.
Game experience, being where he's supposed to be, making those plays, and he's coming up big.
Hilliard with a nice catch. He goes to the sideline. Ernest Johnson checks in to the Browns' backfield as they're certainly in field goal range. That play only took 5 seconds. So, once again, that trips formation. The right, Peoples-Jones to the left. He's got Johnson on his left hip. Does Keenum, who takes the snap. He's looking for a corner route, and Donovan Peoples-Jones runs the corner, stops, comes back, and makes a tough catch in traffic right there, falling forward. That's a big-time catch right there, Josh.
Using his body
as a shield
to put between himself and the DB. That was huge right there. That's what he's capable of.
That is what he's capable of. A great catch down to the 7 with 15 seconds left on the clock as Keenum breaks the team down. They simulate a little bit of a timeout there. They've got 1 timeout remaining as they are on the 7. The Browns defense substituting, bringing big Elianku onto the field as they get more in a goal line set. So situation 1st and 7. Keenum and the Browns offense down 3 with the ball. They're on the goal line at the 7-yard line. 1st and goal from the 7, down 3. 18 seconds and 1 timeout left. So you've got time to run the ball if you want to and take a timeout on one of these, but you're probably going to get 3 shots trying to get it into the end zone here and come away with the victory as you're seeing Case Keenum lead him out there to the field once again. He's got, as we said, Ernest Johnson right off of his left hip there. Surveys the scene, takes the snap. Keenum drops back, looks left, fires Ernest Johnson. Quick catch, Willie Harvey right there. It's about a 2-yard gain, or down to the 5. And they're hurrying back up. Keenum calls his timeout there. So we called the final timeout. No timeouts left, so they got 15 seconds still to go on the clock. They actually have to trickle that down just a little bit there, and they are on the 6-yard line. So now you've used the timeout, Josh. It's got to go to the end zone.
Yes, it does. And you see Case taking what the defense gives him, the high percentage underneath routes as the linebackers drop in their coverage. He hurries up and dumps it down, which he does. And he's really operating this offense right now with precision. I mean, he's moving them down the field.
Very smooth once again. He's got a bunch formation to his right with Carlson and two receivers. They motion Dearness Johnson out, an empty set. Johnson and Peoples-Jones to the left. Keenum takes a snap, looks right, pumps once, throws it away, saying we got to go. We got to live another day here. 3rd down now and goal. You want to win the game? It's going to be on this play. Otherwise, you're going to send Austin Seibert out there most likely to get the field goal and the tie with the Browns down 3. So this is where you say, what is our best 6-yard play? Let's run it right now. Got to get it in there.
Yes.
No choice.
I think he's going to go he's going to initially look for an end zone shot right here or one of those backs. Dearness Johnson out in the flat.
Keenum takes it back, going for the one-on-one jump ball. Donovan Peoples-Jones throws just a little bit behind him. Keenum has his hands on his head there, says I needed to put that one a little further up the field because Peoples-Jones had the step there.
I was rooting for him. I'm over here rooting for the throw. I'm rooting for DPJ to get the big catch. But, and it begs the question. I think Keenum, he needed to have finished right there. And that's what you wanted to see him finish. He did an excellent job, and I even wrote it down. Case operates this offense sometimes with such precision, it's going to make Baker that much better. It's going to activate his competitive edge and make him better.
Seibert now for the tie with the chip shot field goal right down the middle, and that would tie it up for the Browns. You wanted to see Keenum finish that one, and you could tell from him he immediately went, put it, said it was my bad, because on that corner fade ball, it was a little too far behind, and Peoples-Jones had to look this way as opposed to having it out in front of him to the pylon.
And people need to understand the closer you get to the end zone, the defense doesn't have to drop back as much. It gets tougher for the offense to run plays down the field, to throw the ball, the closer you get to the end zone. So that's what happened right there, but I still would have loved to see Case finish what was a good drive, high percentage plays, taking what the defense give him and marching it down the field.
Yeah, he looked sharp. Donovan Peoples-Jones, great catch to get him down to the 7. Hilliard had the nice one, and that was Donovan Peoples-Jones on the rub route to get Hilliard out into the flat against the linebacker. They clipped the linebacker out, and he picked up 20 to get him down into field goal range. You wanted to get 7. We wanted it. We were a little greedy, but you needed to get 3 to keep the game going, and they did get 3.
We would have seen a draw in there somewhere had this been a real game. High percentage run plays that Stefanski did last year with the Vikings. I knew I would have said, in a real live situation, there would have been a run in there somewhere.
All right, we'll get you back to the action on the field when Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals returns.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Snapple apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And 1, and 2, shake it out, stomp. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler. And cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
If
you're watching this right now, chances are you need an immunization. Whether you're a new parent or grandparent, spend time with your own grandparents, have a child with a compromised immune system, have diabetes or shingles, the list goes on. Stop by your local Discount Drug Mart and see us for an immunization review today. Protecting your loved ones is our top priority. A Discount Drug Mart immunization review is quick and free. It's the insurance your family needs to stay healthy. Discount Drug Mart, your immunization destination.
The health and well-being of Ohioans is our top priority. That's why we offer high-quality health insurance plans for you and your family, with access to the doctors and hospitals you know and trust, plus dental, vision, and wellness plans to help you achieve and maintain your best health. We give you peace of mind so you can enjoy life's best moments. We are here for you, today and every day. Medical Mutual, the official health insurer of everything you love.
Time now for our look at our photo of the day, brought to you by Medical Mutual. Odell Beckham Jr. hauling in a pass here at First Energy Stadium. That picture taken by our very own Matt Starkey. Let's get back down to the field now as the Browns stay in a 2-minute situation. This time it's Garrett Gilbert down 6 with 34 seconds to go as they have the ball 4th and 1 on the 38. Oh, no, they gave him the first down. 1st and 10 on the 38 as Gilbert snaps it and spikes it right there. So it'll be 2nd and 10 on the 38. The Browns, they have 34 seconds to go. 1 timeout, down 6 with Gilbert. And Gilbert initially came out, tried to hit a big seam ball, Josh, and our guy Donovan Olumba almost had the pick.
Yes.
And then did a couple of push-ups. Said, I should have had it, but a great pass breakup as well.
But you like to see the guys holding themselves accountable. Man, I should have got that. Let me knock out these push-ups. Don't let it happen again. Catch the ball.
All right, so 2nd and 10 for Gilbert at the 39. He's got Benny LeMay off of his left hip as he's in the shotgun. Down 6, needing a touchdown to score. Gilbert drops back. He's got a good pocket. He's looking for Hollywood Higgins, and A.J. Green is right there and says, no, sir. And again, these young corners, we've talked about them, Olumba, Green, competing to be on this roster, and both of them, I think, have made a very strong case to be on this Browns 53. The Browns just so loaded and deep at that position, something we really didn't foresee coming into this season. We didn't know, but Olumba has looked like a great acquisition. And we know that A.J. Green was one of the most coveted undrafted free agents in all of this class this year coming out of Oklahoma State. Gilbert in the shotgun. He's got 3rd and 10. LeMay, they need a touchdown to keep it going. Checks it down to LeMay, quickly tagged up there by Tay Davis. That'll be about a 5-yard gain, setting up 4th and 5 for the Browns with only 22 seconds to go as this defense, given Garrett Gilbert and this offense, fits right now as they need a touchdown to get the win. They're going to have to go 34 yards in 22 seconds with 1 timeout, but before they can even think about that, they're going to have to go 5 yards and get this first down.
Yeah, and this opportunity right here puts these guys, not just the players. Again, guys, let's understand the coaches are trying to make the right calls. So when this happens in the game, in a real game, they have things dialed up for this situation. They're going to find out right now if the play they have called works in this situation.
Gilbert in the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers to the right. Pharaoh Brown the near in the slot as the tight end. LeMay off of his left hip. Tries to see if the defense will say anything. They don't. The snap to Gilbert. He looks, fires out to the right. A nice little angle route, kind of in and out. The jerk route, they call it, from JoJo Natson to pick up the first down. And for Natson, again, when you can show value as a receiver, as he does on that play, we know what he can do as a returner. It just makes it a little bit easier for JoJo to end up on this 53.
Yeah, and you give him the ball in space, it's a punt return. They say that a lot as it relates to guys who are returners. Give the ball to him and watch what he does. That's why it's significant for him. And you see a lot of those in and around plays that they give to him because they want him to be in space. He does great things.
That was a great route by Nats and run that jerk route, not only picking up the first down, getting out of bounds. It's 1st and 10 at the 24. They've got 15 seconds left. Gilbert taking a shot up at the top. Olumba in coverage, and Olumba bats it away from Hollywood Higgins at the last second again. And Donovan Olumba says, come on, crowd, let me know. I see you. I see you. You guys see me? That's right. 2 pass breakups on this drive from Olumba, getting it there, going with the left hand. Tried to even put it up for Sheldrick Redwine to come get the pick, but
the length,
and that's what he is. Unique. 6'2", 210. He's got unique size, and I think, boy, he's had one of the best camps. He's a guy that no matter what happens will look back at this and say, I did what I could.
Exactly.
It's out of my hands now.
And you said it. These young guys, these young corners have been phenomenal, having phenomenal camp.
Gilbert now dropping, looking, firing, and that's going to be picked off as he tried to find JoJo Natson. And that looks like number 35, Javante Moffitt again. And wouldn't you know, the last time we were at First Energy Stadium, practice ended on a Javante Moffitt interception at the goal line. Moffitt comes up big, sealing the win for the Browns. Up 6, they needed a stop. You get a couple of pass breakups from Alumba. You get a pass breakup from A.J. Green, and then it's Javante Moffitt. And that is our play of the day presented by University Hospitals. Look, Gilbert had to try to make a play. They're down 6. They had a long way to go. Moffitt, again, right place at the right time, and he's a guy you have to think probably tough for the 53, knowing what you've got at safety, but he's made plays every time they put on these uniforms, and somebody that could be looking at a practice squad opportunity here with the Browns, but another guy that says, look, I did what I could with the opportunities I was given. Certainly no regrets for Javante Moffitt because the 2 times they were at First Energy Stadium,
right.
2 interceptions.
If you look at what the players have done in training camp thus far, you see what Andrew Berry has put out there on the field. Coach Stefanski, he has his work cut out for him. These are a bunch of talented guys. This is the type of camp that our fans would have loved to see. Talent all over the place. This is something they can look at and say, you know what? We have a great bunch of guys, a lot of talent to choose from, unlike anything in the past. In the past, you just had to go to the known guys, the guys you hear about in the papers. Now you have guys talent like Alumbo. Like I'm like shocked. He's going to end up somewhere. I said that you can't make this team via this practice right here. But I thought he was the guy who had that pick. I'm like, if that was Alumba, you need to sign him up right now because he's just showing it. He's been consistent. His length, the way he reaches up for the balls, knock him down. I know he had a pass breakup. He almost had a pick. He's showing you that he wants to play and that he can.
Absolutely. Alumba making his case. Javante Moffitt, an undrafted free agent for the Browns out of Middle Tennessee. Back-to-back honorable mention All-Conference USA. His last 2 seasons there is 313 tackles, tied for 5th in school history. 5 career interceptions. Now Gilbert's got 40 seconds on the clock. He looks over the middle, and there's Donovan Peoples-Jones. And all Donovan Peoples-Jones does is make plays, frankly. They're down, same scenario, down 6 here. They've got 20 seconds on the clock and no timeouts. As you saw Donovan Peoples-Jones, heady for a rookie. Caught it, took a knee, gave himself up so that the play would stop, and they were able to get up and spike the ball down. It will now be 2nd and 10 at the 16. The Browns, Garrett Gilbert down 6. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, you see him on that deep dig, that deep in route.
Yes.
He looks good.
Again, he has a big frame. To utilize his frame with the size and strength and his ability is something that this team can use. So when you look at him and compare him to the other guys on our team, being as young as he is and having that much potential, again, we keep talking about how hard this decision will be as it relates to the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I don't think there's any decision with Donovan Peoples-Jones. The guy looks like an absolute stud as Gilbert looks for him there, but good pressure from Chad Thomas, and Daniel Aquale has to throw it away. It'll be 3rd and 10 now on the 16. No timeouts for Gilbert and the Browns, down 6, and there are just 15 ticks left on the clock. The defense got the hold one time, the offense got the field goal one time, and now this is round 3, as they say. Situation certainly that favored the defense, but that was a big chunk play on 1st down to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Now they've had to kind of throw it away a couple times here. They clocked it, throw it away, and now they face 3rd down. Probably got time for, with 15 seconds left, if you can get out of bounds, you got time for a couple of plays, taking shots in the end zone. But the first thing you have to remember, you still got to get the 1st down, and you got 2 plays to get 10 yards. As Gilbert, with an empty set, takes the ball, snap out of the shotgun. He's looking, and Chad Thomas is there once again. And that probably would be blown dead as a sack, and that would be a kind of play that's a game-winning play for your defense. They're going to give him one more opportunity, but Chad Thomas, listen, all you can do is take advantage of the opportunities, and that's 2 plays in a row where Chad Thomas blew up the play for the Browns offense.
And there are alive as you can be, live meaning full go, in the trenches as they can. They're pushing these linemen back. And I think that was a better opportunity for Gilbert right there to throw it away a little sooner. He's holding the ball just a little bit too long in the trenches right there.
Yeah, Chad Thomas working against Michael Dunn, who's in at right tackle for the Browns. Gilbert 4th and 10 from the empty set. Fires to the end zone looking for Peoples-Jones, who goes up and wouldn't have been inbounds. Good coverage there from Robert Jackson. And another one for the defense, as the Browns defense getting it done. And again, we talked about Alumba and Green. Rob Jackson has had a good camp as well. Another one of those bigger corners, over 6 feet tall, 6'2", out of UNLV, a guy who was on our roster last year. Tough. It's great problem to have in the sense that we never expected to have this kind of depth at the cornerback position, but it certainly is showing up for the Browns, who are going. He's giving them one play here, Josh.
This is what you wanted to see.
Yeah.
You wanted to see those guys on the bubble, those young guys, the threes. You wanted to see them go at it. They're competing right now. They're going at it as best they can without tackling to the ground. So this is some good football right here. They're trying to make the team out here.
All right, they're calling it a dead ball play. From the 1, down 6, Gilbert in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right, slides Hilliard 2 off of his right hip. The Browns D showing a blitz. Gilbert gets it back, looking, firing out Steve Carlson. No, Sheldrick Redwine in coverage, and Carlson tried to make a one-handed catch as Redwine was there. I'm sure the offense is going to say, throw the flag.
Yeah.
Throw the flag. The defense says, no, that is it. And the defense gets a hold. And Kevin Stefanski now leading his team out to the middle of the field, as I think that will do it for today's practice. But some guys we talked about, Donovan Peoples-Jones absolutely continues to show up. I thought both D'Ernest Johnson and Dontrell Hilliard continued to look good. And then those corners, Alumba, Green, Jackson, all 3 look good. And Javonte Moffitt, again, another day at First Energy Stadium for him, another interception for him.
Yeah, and I know he had an interception, but I can't say enough good things about Alumba. You know, a guy of consistency. I'm big on consistency. Are you the same guy every day? Are you making plays every day? I believe he has been making plays. Dropped the interception there, but still was in the right place at the right time, knocking the passes down. He's the big prototype corner. He's the guy you actually want him in the game against those big-time receivers, shutting down Odell in practice a couple days ago, and Jarvis as well. So Alumba's been consistent.
He's been consistently great camp. He's done all that he can. We're going to wrap things up from First Energy Stadium when Browns Live Training Camp, presented by University Hospitals, returns.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a daughter, a wife, and a mother. I'm your neighbor, part of the community just like you. Drug Mart is part of the community too. They have been for more than 50 years. Now, more than ever in these challenging times, your neighborhood Drug Mart pharmacy, all of us, are here to help you. You can rely on us to go the extra mile, whatever you need, every time. I know in my heart that I can lean on my neighbors, and you can lean on Discount Drug Mart.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Dress your nest with fresh new color from Sherwin-Williams. Stop in or order online for curbside pickup and get 35% off paints and stains August 27th through September 7th. For all your painting needs, ask Sherwin-Williams.
New this year, Browns fans all across Ohio will have a special opportunity to purchase 50-50 raffle tickets during the 2020 Cleveland Browns training camp. Each ticket will provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds, the other half benefiting the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. For more information and to purchase a raffle ticket, visit Browns5050.com. That's Browns5050.com or the Browns mobile app. All right, time now for another Browns Live play of the day presented by University Hospitals. And here he is, Donovan Alumba, one of the guys who certainly has made as strong a case as he possibly can, going up and breaking up the pass intended for Hollywood Higgins. Higgins probably thought he might have had a touchdown there, and Alumba said, no, not so fast.
And I know a guy like Higgins can vouch for Alumba in that situation. Man, usually I would have scored. I scored like this in the game. That's how Hollywood became Hollywood Higgins, scoring those type of touchdowns. But Alumbo's saying, not today.
Not today as we wrap things up here at First Energy Stadium. You saw that commercial for the raffle again. That goes till 10 tonight. Browns5050.com. Do great things for Northeast Ohio, and maybe even great things for yourself as that prize pool up over $60,000, which is good. All right, we're talking time now for one of our Coach's Corners, brought to you by Snapple, as the Browns Chief of Staff, Callie Bronson, sat down with us out in Berea. Very happy now to be joined by the Browns Chief of Staff, Callie Bronson. And Callie, thank you for being with us here today, and just kind of take us through. You get to be behind the scenes. You're in this building every day working hand in hand with head coach Kevin Stefanski. What has this experience of this training camp and really all that's come with it been like inside for you guys?
Yeah, crazy is an understatement, I think. It's definitely unlike any training camp that we've participated in the past in so many ways, from the layout of the building to who's in the building to the protocols around the building, even to some of the things we had to do to ease our way into how we practice. You know, the way we're used to training camp is you report for camp, you have a couple days of acclimation, and then you're right to it and getting ready for the first preseason game. And obviously that was not on the slate for us this year. So definitely a different landscape for us this year. But I'll tell you what, the attitude and the energy in the building has been phenomenal. It's what's gotten us to this point and helped us really honestly turn this into what I would definitely consider a productive training camp for us. And, you know, at the end of the day, the protocols and all the different things that we have to go through don't change the fact that we've got to line up on Sundays and win football games.
Absolutely, you are right about that. And what's it been like going from, you know, what was a very productive, and Kevin Stefanski said, you know, our virtual offseason program exceeded our expectations, and for you joining the staff and getting to be around the players for the first time, what's that kind of been like? You know, something you expected to be doing all the way back in March.
Yeah, it was definitely a different way to go through the spring. But again, at the front end of that, when we realized we were going to have to operate that offseason program virtually, it was, you know, this is what it is. And we still have to find a way to do it better than 31 other teams. And that was the challenge that was put on, you know, myself, the coaching staff, our support staff, and everybody really knocked it out of the park. And again, going back to it, attitude is everything. I remember that first week, you know, in April when we finally started to get the players together and start that virtual program. You're kind of thinking, you know, this can go one way or another attitude-wise, and everybody came into it ready to roll. And I thought that was really, to me, such a great way to start things off, to understand we're about to approach a season that nobody's ever seen anything like this before. No. So to jump into a virtual off-season program where you don't get to build that chemistry and that culture in the building, and everybody jump into it still finding a way to do those things through Zoom, to me was awesome. And it speaks to our coaches, it speaks to our players. Everybody really took it and took a lot of pride in it and decided that, hey, these are the cards we're dealt, and we're going to find a way to get better no matter what.
Take us through a typical day for you in this training camp period.
Well, the best part about my position is no day is typical or the same. But, you know, ideally I get in, I get with coach, and we kind of look at what the day's looking like, potential you know, things that could pop up throughout the day that we try to get ahead on. And then from that point on, it's putting out fires, you know, and it's also really, my position is about streamlining communication and streamlining really the vision of the head coach. So I'll work with equipment, I'll work with video, I'll work with the grounds crew on making sure we're all set for practice. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be. Work with the coaches, making sure they know where they're supposed to be, make sure players get into meetings. And I'm really just, especially in the morning, bouncing around like crazy. And then finally, when we get out on the field, I'm really kind of directing traffic and organizing things on the field so that we can maximize reps and make sure that we're as efficient as possible when we get that time on the field. We got a lot of time to make up for, so every rep counts.
What's probably the biggest thing maybe that you've learned, A, about yourself Let's start with that, about yourself in this role, because this year you couldn't plan for it. Forced adaptability, that's the phrase that we've heard Coach Stefanski use. We've heard Andrew Barry use it as well. What's something you've learned about yourself and your ability to kind of manage, and we haven't even gotten to the fires, you said putting out fires. We've had some significant ones just in the 2 weeks that we've been back in Berea, but what have you really learned about yourself in this role?
I always thought coming through, coming into this process that I worked well under pressure, and now I'm very certain of that. Very certain of that, and it helps, working for somebody like Coach Stefanski, who also works extremely well under pressure, and I've learned a lot from him and watched a lot of how he reacts to things, and that's taught me a lot and helped me through this process to stay cool, calm, and collected. Because listen, like I said, at the end of the day, we still got to get better every day, and staying focused and not letting everything kind of pile up on top of your shoulders is really important. And I think that goes for all of us because it's inevitable. Tomorrow's going to present its own challenges for us, and at the end of the day, I still have to find a way to organize and make sure that we're finding a way to get better.
No doubt about it. Callie, fans can't be out here. That would have been something I know you would have enjoyed. They would have enjoyed getting to see you out here. What's one thing you want to leave our fans with as we're now, under 2 weeks away or right around 2 weeks away from the start of the season?
Yeah, it's going to be a little different this year. It's going to look a little different, and the engagement from the fan perspective is going to be a little different, but it doesn't change the mission. It doesn't change the energy and how excited everybody was back in February and March when we came in here to do what we're supposed to do. None of that changes. It's just going to look a little different, but I think the excitement should be real. I think on top of that, they should be even more excited because we've added another layer of adversity that we're going to overcome, and I think that's going to be an exciting thing to be a part of. And I think 2020 is a great year to be a Browns fan.
Love it. We do think that 2020 is going to be a great year to be a Browns fan. We are certainly excited about it. Josh, it's been a great time with you here on Browns Live for the last few weeks. What are your final thoughts? Everything we've seen, it all culminates for a lot of these guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. By the way, we'll have full coverage of the 53 roster on clevelandbrowns.com, the Browns mobile app as well. And I hear a special Best Podcast Available will be available tomorrow as well.
It's been a great training camp thus far. I have a lot. I'm going to sum it up real quick. At the wide receiver position, there was a lot of battles as we talked about it. I was glad to see the battle between DPJ and Natson to see how that'll play out. I don't know how it's going to play out, but it was an interesting battle. Natson really showed us something. DPJ all through this camp, all through practice out here today. We go to the running back between Dontrell and D. Ernest. We don't know what's going to pan out right there, but I was leaning towards D. Ernest. I think you were too a little bit, but Dontrell showed us why he's Old Faithful when it comes to game experience. Moving on to safety, Carl Joseph. He still looked good. He's kind of solidified himself, as well as Sendejo, the veteran. And I know he wasn't out there today, but when you think about consistency throughout practice, these safeties are kind of the leaders in the back in the secondary. They kind of run the defense a little bit when your linebackers are out. We have Wilson that's out right now. B.J. Goodson stepped in right away and got an interception. So these are guys that came in through injury that stepped it up. And the veteranship, Taki's been all over the place. Elliott came in when guys took breaks, and he was in the backfield every time. We couldn't say enough good things about him. The tight end room, and I'll end it with this. When you're talking about where the ball is going to go, it's one football. Look for that tight end room. I'm thinking about fantasy now. When you're talking about my fantasy draft team and who you're going to get, I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns. I'm looking at what we got in Austin Hooper, Harrison Bryant, and Njoku. Every time he was in the game, every time we had these scrimmages, he was on fire. So I'm looking at that group. I'm like, wow, I hope OBJ and Jarvis going to pay these quarterbacks off because the ball is – I don't know where the ball is going to go to more when you look at the talent of this team, but it should go to those running backs.
Oh, yes.
Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They're going to be some leaders, some monumental leaders on this team as they were all through training camp.
There's no doubt about it. It's been a great time in Berea, a great couple of days at First Energy Stadium, and now – it's up to Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski to craft this roster, this final 53-man roster that in 9 days will head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens to kick off the 2020 Cleveland Browns season. And I know we are all excited about that. And guess what? We're not even 2 weeks away from the home opener that following Thursday right here at First Energy Stadium against the Cincinnati Cincinnati Bengals. So all the work, it's been a crazy offseason. We've loved bringing it to you, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the incredible work of our crew behind the scenes. Paul Taylor, Drew Davidson, Rob Conroy, the three of them have been incredible all year long, our camera guys as well. So we want to thank them so much. And more importantly, we want to thank you. Not more importantly, equally as importantly, we want to thank all of you for being with us for all of these episodes of Browns Live. We've had a blast. We hope that you've enjoyed it. We appreciate all your feedback and interactivity. It has been great. So for the final time, for Josh Cribbs, I am Nathan Zagura saying thanks for watching Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals.